Hello student. Let's see the suprarenal gland. So suprarenal gland, that is also called the adrenal gland, and these are the important endocrine gland which is located into the posterior abdominal wall over the upper pole of the kidney behind the peritoneum, and it consists of the two parts, that is the cortex and the medulla. The endocrine gland that help to maintain the water and electrolyte balance in our body. They also prepare the body for the emergency, and the lack of the secretion of the cortical part leads to Addison disease, or excessive secretion. It causes the retention of the salt and the water. Then the tumor of the adrenal medulla, it is also called the pleiochromoscytoma, which causes the persistent severe hypertension. So let's see the details of the suprarenal gland or the adrenal gland. Then the location of the suprarenal gland. So suprarenal gland, it lies in the epigastrium at the upper pole of the kidney. So here that is the right kidney, this is the left kidney, and that is the upper pole, that is the both right and left suprarenal gland, they should be attached with each other, and it is located in front of the crus of the diaphragm, opposite to the vertebral end of 11th intercostal space and the 12th rib. Then size, shape and the weight. So each gland, it is measures about 50 mm in height and 30 mm in the breadth and 10 mm in the thickness. It is approximately 1/3 of the kidney at the birth and about 1/13 of it in the adult. The weight of the suprarenal gland, that is near about 5 grams. The medulla forming 1/10 of the gland. Then the shape of the gland, that is the right suprarenal gland, it is the triangular or the pyramidal in shape, and the left suprarenal gland, it is semilunar in shape. Then let's see, that is the sheath of the gland. The gland, it is surrounded by the two sheaths. So first, that is immediately, that is the covering of the loose areolar tissue, which contain the considerable amount of perirenal fat. So this one. And second one, that is the outer to that the renal fascia encloses the suprarenal gland together with kidney, but gland, it is separated from kidney by a septum. So here you can see, that is the septum, this one. The two layers are not fused above to that the suprarenal gland. The perirenal space, it is open. So here you can see, and it is continuously with the bare area of the liver on the right side and with the subphrenic extraperitoneal space on the left side. The right suprarenal gland. So right suprarenal gland, as you know, that have the triangular or the pyramidal in shape. So it has the apex, this one, and the base. Then the two surfaces, that is anterior surface and the posterior surface, and the three border, that is the anterior border, the medial border and the lateral border. So this is anterior border, this is medial border, and this is the lateral border. Then the left suprarenal gland. So left suprarenal gland, as it is the semilunar in shape, so it has two ends, that is the upper end which is narrower and the lower end which is rounded. Then the two borders, that is the medial border which is convex, so this one, that is the medial border which is convex, and the lateral border which is concave, so this one. And the two surface, that is, this is the anterior surface and opposite to it, that is the posterior surface. Let's see, that is the relations. So that is the right suprarenal gland anteriorly, it is related with the medial inferior vena cava. So here you can see inferior vena cava, medial side. This is the medial side, this is the lateral side. So medially, that is related with the inferior vena cava, and laterally it is related with the right lobe of the liver. So here. Then the posterior surface. So posterior surface here you can see that is related with inferiorly, that is the kidney, and superiorly, that is the right crus of diaphragm. So this one. Then medial border. So here medial border, that is related with the colic ganglion, right colic ganglion and right inferior phrenic artery. Then the hilum, that is present near to that the upper end. So this one. Then the peritoneal relations, that is not related to the peritoneum except a tiny area below. Then the left kidney. So anterior relations of the left suprarenal gland. So this one. So superiorly it is related with that the stomach, and inferiorly it is related with pancreas and the splenic artery. Then the posterior surface. So here posteriorly it is related with the left crus of the diaphragm. So this one. And the laterally it is related with the kidney. This one. Then the medial border, here this is the medial border. So it is related with the left colic ganglion. So this one, that is the left colic ganglion, left inferior phrenic artery and left gastric vessel. Then the hilum. So hilum, that should be present near to that the lower end. So this one. And the peritoneal relations, that is related to that the peritoneum of omental bursa, which separate it from the stomach. Then the structure of the suprarenal gland. So suprarenal gland, it shows the outer part, it is called the cortex, which forms the main mass of the gland, and the inner part, which is very much thin, so it is called the medulla, and this medulla, it forms only 1/10 part of the gland. The two parts are absolutely distinct from each other structurally, functionally and developmentally. So the cortex, that should be composed of the three zones. So outermost part or the outer zone, it is called the zona glomerulosa, which produces the mineralocortic that affect the electrolyte and the water balance of the body. Then the middle part or the middle zone, it is called the zona fasciculata, which produces the glucocorticoid. And the innermost part, that is also called the zona reticulosa, which produces the sex hormone. The medulla, which compose of the chromaffin cells that secrete the adrenaline and the non-adrenaline. Then the histology of the suprarenal gland. So as it consists of the cortex and the medulla. So the cortex, that consists of the three zones, that is outer zona glomerulosa, which consists of the group of columnar cell with spherical nuclei. Then the middle zone, that is also called the zona fasciculata, has cells arranged into that the vertical rows, and the cells have lots of the vacuoles in the cytoplasm. Then the inner zone, which is called the zona reticulosa, which consists of the anastomosing network, and these cells are less vacuolated. Then the medulla of the suprarenal gland. So these are the composed of the chromaffin cells, which are arranged in the small group surrounded by the capillaries, and in between those cells are autonomic ganglion cells. So that is the histology of the suprarenal gland. The arterial supply. So each gland, that is supplied by first the superior suprarenal artery. So here you can see that is the superior suprarenal artery, which is the branch of inferior phrenic artery. So on both sides here you can see that is the branch of inferior phrenic artery. Then the middle suprarenal artery. So this one, middle suprarenal artery. So it is the direct branch of the abdominal aorta. And third, that is the inferior suprarenal arteries, so which is the branch of the renal arteries. So here on the both side. Then the venous drainage. So here you can see that is the venous drainage of the gland. So each gland that is drained by the one vein, that is the right suprarenal gland, it is drained into directly inferior vena cava. So here you can see, and the left suprarenal vein that is drained into, here you can see, into the left renal vein, this one. Then the nerve supply. The nerve supply, that is the suprarenal medulla, has the rich nerve supply through myelinated preganglionic sympathetic fibers. The chromaffin cells in it are considered homologous with the postganglionic sympathetic neuron. Then the activity of the cortex, it is largely controlled by the adrenocorticotropic hormone, which is secreted by the anterior lobe of the pituitary gland. Then the lymphatic drainage, that is the lymphatics from the suprarenal gland that is drained into the lateral aortic lymph nodes. After then, let's see the clinical anatomy or the applied anatomy related with the suprarenal gland. First clinical point related with the suprarenal gland, that is the suprarenal gland can be demonstrated radiologically by the CT scan. Then the insufficiency of the cortical secretion, it can causes the Addison disease. So clinically, that the Addison disease, it shows the muscle weakness and the wasting, increased pigmentation of the skin, low blood pressure, and the restlessness and the tiredness. The next clinical point, that is the excessive secretion of the suprarenal gland, it produces, that is the Cushing syndrome. So the Cushing syndrome, it occurs or shows the clinical symptom, that is the obesity involving the moon face. Then the neck and the abdomen, it should be occurs the obese. The occurs the hypertension, hirsutism, and the muscularization in the female and the feminization in the male, and the adrenogenital syndrome in the children. So that should be occurs into that the Cushing syndrome. Then next clinical point, that is the adrenalectomy. So the adrenalectomy, that means the bilateral removal of the adrenal gland. So it is sometimes done in advance and in operable cases of the carcinoma of the breast and the prostate. The care must be taken during the adrenectomy, that is the suprarenal vein must be ligated before manipulating the glands, so that the catecholamines do not escape in the circulation. The right adrenal gland, it is more difficult to approach than the left, because it is the part lies posterior to that the inferior vena cava. The next clinical point, that is the pheochromocytoma. So it is the benign tumor of the adrenal medulla. The sign and symptoms are produced due to that the burst of epinephrine and the norepinephrine, and it shows that is the paroxysms of hypertension, the palpitation, headache, and excessive sweating, and the pallor of the skin. So these are the symptoms that should be seen into the pheochromocytoma. So these are the clinical points related with the suprarenal gland.